Hello everyone, welcome to my review of Captain America Civil War, a movie that next year turns 10 years old. God, I'm old. Anyway, also, my favorite MCU movie. Absolutely love this thing. Back when it came out, it was my favorite movie of all time. But is it still my favorite movie? That is what we are here to find out. Still a big fan of this movie. Now, the big question that everyone has on their mind, is this a Captain America movie or is this an Avengers 2.5? And the answer to that question is yes. It's both. It's actually both. Like, while the movie does focus heavily on Captain America and his stuff, it also is an Avengers movie. It's just Captain America is the star of the Avengers movie. But everyone gets their own share of screen time, which I very much like. So let's talk about what this movie is about in a kind of a non-spoilery way, because I'll have a spoiler talk on the way. So, this movie basically is the fact that after all the damage that has been caused in the movies, that, you know, we were all like, yeah, Hulk, jump on that building and bring it down to the ground. There were people on that ground, and they basically got crushed. So, the governments have decided, hey, yeah, about that. Let's just not, and let's create the Sokovia Accords. This way, you do what we say, and obviously, Captain America's like, absolutely not. If I want to save a cat in a tree in the Netherlands, I'm heading over to the Netherlands in order to save a cat out of the tree. And you can't stop me. I'm not gonna have the UN first debate if we are even allowed to do that kind of stuff. I'm just gonna do it, okay? Simple as that. And Tony, because of a conversation that he has in this movie, is like, I think it's actually a good idea. And so, the rest of the Avengers have chosen sides, and it's a battle between the two. Also known as the airport fight, which, yes, is still absolutely fantastic. So let us talk about the actual characters in the movie. Starting off, we have Chris Evans back once again as Captain America, Steve Rogers, and my goodness, those arms. Whew! Sorry, that was just one scene in this movie that turned me gay for 5 seconds. Because, my goodness, what a set of arms he has. And that was actually kind of real. They used a real helicopter, but they didn't have it flying there in order to film that scene, which is impressive. Anyway, he continues on his storyline of being justice. But like actual justice. Wanting to help the little guys and the big guys, but everyone who actually needs help and not just, you know, what the government says. And once again, he's fighting the government like he always is. I mean, that was in the first Avenger. He was fighting the government because of the fact that well, he got his super soldier stuff, and then it was like, here, go be in theater. And he was like, no, I'm gonna rescue my best friend. That kind of stuff. And then in the second movie, the government was Hydra, or at least S.H.I.E.L.D. was Hydra. So he fought that. And now he actually kind of fights against the government because they got some wrong information. So it's a casual stuff for Cap. But once again, Chris Evans knocks it out of the park. Next up, we have, I guess, the co-star. The opposite, potentially the villain, depending, of course, on which side you pick. Cap for life. We have Robert Downey Jr. back as Tony Stark and Iron Man. And, yeah, a lot has happened, kind of. I mean, there's apparently some stuff with Pepper that I won't really talk about, but also the guilt that Tony feels for the fact that people died, even though most of the people got saved, and if those people didn't die, everyone would have died. Look, that's the kind of thing about Tony's whole motivation in this movie that I kind of have a problem with, because you can't save everyone, okay? Sometimes casualties happen. It's a sad thing. We shouldn't be proud of it, but it is something that happens, okay? When the Chitauri invaded in the first Avengers movie, if Hulk didn't jump on that building to smash some Chitauri, they could have actually killed the people down below as well. So, you actually know what would have happened if you guys didn't exist. So, it's kind of hard to be on his side, but I do get, that's what I like about this movie, that you get to see where he's coming from. And then the end of the movie happens where I will say Iron Man is completely wrong, but I support him fully. But that's all I'll say. But he is definitely in the wrong. He's not in the right. I think even he knows that he is wrong, but doesn't matter. So then next up we have Sebastian Stan back as Bucky Barnes, aka the Winter Soldier. After the memory return that you had in the Winter Soldier, now we find Winter Soldier, or Bucky I guess, living his daily life as he gets involved with this storyline. And that's basically all I can say, because I don't really know what counts as a spoiler and not, because the poster basically just Team Cap, Team Iron Man. So I kind of want to focus more on that. But yeah, Bucky's in this movie too, and Sebastian Stan knocks it out of the park, and I'm so happy that we still have him. And you people should have supported Thunderbolts. I'm just saying that right now. The Thunderbolts deserve support. That was a great movie. Next up, we have Anthony Mackie back as Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon. And I will say this. This movie is the first one, really, where Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie act together. And you can see why these two get paired up a lot of the times. Because they're brilliant together. And also, he is fantastic as Sam Wilson. Very much liked him. And he actually gets his robotic drone from, I guess, the comic books, which I don't read because I'm a Dragon Ball fan. Red Wing, which sounds like a Batman character, but whatever. Anyway, he gets his drone Red Wing, which is very nice to see. The way he uses that thing in battle is very fun. And, you know, Anthony Mackie is a good actor. And then afterwards, before we get into the rest of the cast, we'll go into the other, I guess, main character. We have Daniel Brühl as Helmut Zemo. This character has been changed a little bit, or a lot of it, from the comic books because this time he is actually not with Hydra, unlike in the comic books, because that wouldn't really make sense. I mean, it would make sense in the Ages of S.H.I.E.L.D. sense, but since Marvel during this time was kind of allergic to announce, you know, the whole Marvel TV side, yeah, it wouldn't really make sense for him to be a part of Hydra. Also, he couldn't really be high in Hydra because of the fact that Hydra is kind of gone now. So instead, they changed his backstory, but he basically just wants the war to happen. And I know a lot of people, the Civil War, that is. And I know a lot of people have a problem with him in the movie. I actually don't. I like him in the movie, and I think he adds something to the movie that otherwise potentially would not have happened. Just to drive the point home in that sense. So we kind of did need him. Because, like, otherwise, the rest of the movie, I feel like, wouldn't really have happened. And I also like the fact that he's a bad guy who doesn't have superpowers. Like, the other bad guys all have, like, superpowers and stuff like that, but he doesn't. And I like that as well. Now I'm gonna go over a couple of characters that appear, superheroes, obviously, but appeared in the movie that I don't really have much to say about. So let's just rapid fire these bad boys. Starting off, we have Scarlett Johansson back as Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow. She is just like she was before. However, she does do something that I was very surprised by. And I think a lot of people, well, at least when I first saw this movie, and I think a lot of people are going to be surprised as well when they first saw this movie, even though technically the posters and the trailer spoiled it. But still, the fact that she does what she does earlier on in the movie is very shocking, but she is one of those both sides players. Then after that, we have Don Cheadle back as James Rhodey Rhodes, aka War Machine. And yeah, he's good in the movie, I will say that, but I don't really have much to say about, like he's basically a background character in this movie. He's basically like, yay, Tony. And that's basically it. However, when he comes down, when the chase happens, that was actually a really cool sequence. Next up, we have Jeremy Renner back as Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, and he is a retired Avenger, actually. However, he comes back because he can't leave the kids alone for 5 minutes. So he's back for this movie. And once again, he does a really good job at portraying Clint Barton. Then after that, we have Emily Van Camp back as Agent 13. I think that was the number. I think her number was Agent 13. And we learned something special about her. And I also liked her in the movie. Even though they take a direction with her that I'm not really the biggest fan of, kind of. I find it a little bit weird, but also I'm kind of like, who cares, you know? And then next up, we have Paul Rudd as Scott Lang, aka Ant-Man, who we saw last in his movie, and he had a bit of a run-in with Falcon, and that's how he kind of gets involved with this whole thing. And he's funny in this movie, he is great in this movie, but anything I could say about him equals spoilers, so we're not gonna talk about him anymore. Outside of the fact that Paul Rudd was great, his comedy meshes really well with the rest of the characters. So then next up, let's talk about the two new Avengers, starting off with Paul Bettany, who plays Vision in this movie. And I really like Vision in this movie. I'm a big fan. The way that him and Wanda kind of start to develop a connection. And also, he is basically the most powerful character in this movie outside of Wanda, obviously, who I would say equals him, but he's also the one who basically has like Superman strength. So whichever side he chooses either needs Wanda or is at a complete disadvantage. Then next up, we have my wife as Wanda Maximoff, aka the Scarlet Witch, who is not called Scarlet Witch until way later on, but I'm gonna call her the Scarlet Witch because that's what she's. Also, it's Elizabeth Olsen. And I like the way that she has been incorporated herself within the team, even though at the beginning of the movie there is something that happens that kind of sets some events into motion. And I will say it wasn't her fault, There was nothing she could have done, but I like the way that they handle her character. I'm a big fan of the way that they handle the two new characters, Wanda and Vision, but they share a lot of screen time, so it's hard to talk about them individually when, you know, it's just so much easier to talk about them together. But they fit right in with the Avengers team, at least. Very much found them fun together. Then, next up, let us talk about the new characters, which I'm super excited about. Starting off, we have Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, aka Black Panther. And this is actually the first, well, outside of Zemo, this is the first character where I can say that he isn't back, but this is his first role. And I will say he's a show stealer in every scene. While I am 100% on the side of they should have recasted him, I will say this, Chadwick Boseman's legacy should never be tarnished by being like, oh, he wasn't that good, because he was fantastic as T'Challa. The way that he acts in his scenes, and also, he is the only serious character in this movie. Like, he's funny because of the stuff that happens around him. Like, there's a scene between him and another character, and the other character introduces himself, and he's just like, I don't care. That is funny, not because of the fact that he's making a joke, but just, I found that very funny. But I'm a big fan of Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa, the prince and future king of Wakanda. He is a show stealer in every scene. He demands screen presence. What can I say? And then finally, our last character that we're gonna talk about. This is my boy. This is my favorite character ever. We have Tom Holland as Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man. You have no idea what I felt back in the year 2015 when it was announced that Marvel and Sony made a deal to have Spider-Man appear in the MCU. I was like, oh my god, he's not gonna be in Civil War, but oh my god, he's gonna be in the MCU. I'm so excited because of the fact that we had news story after news story about how the Amazing Spider-Man universe was just completely just dead, basically. And we didn't know what the future was. And then it's like Marvel's been doing so well with their characters. Let Spider-Man join. And just Spider-Man is here. However, then the second trailer for Captain America Civil War came out. And we collectively, the whole planet had a gigantic orgasm because of that. Because, oh my god, he's here. And he's perfect. Everything in that scene. Hi, everyone. It's so good. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I will say that, even though I know nowadays that he gets a lot of hate online for playing Spider-Man, even though technically what happens to him after this is because of the writers, not because of Tom Holland. Tom Holland just acts the way that he's supposed to act. He does a really good job. The thing is, it's just, I don't get, why do the actors always get blamed when the writers write something terribly? It's so weird. But anyway, I will say this is the perfect introduction that they could have done for Spider-Man in this universe. The way that they set him up was brilliant, and also the fact that it just, like, this movie has these, like, scenes where it's like Queens or Brooklyn, or, you know, like that, big letters. When I saw Queens in the theater, I was like, it's Spider-Man, because I'm so happy about it. And I will say this is probably still my favorite portrayal of Spider-Man in the MCU, because I think he acts the most like Spider-Man. Because it feels like after this, and also kind of after Homecoming, but basically with Far From Home and No Way Home, they don't really know where to take his character anymore. It's kind of like they got a bit confused. But maybe with Spider-Man Brand New Day, they can get it back on track, even though Hulk is going to be in that movie. So who knows? But overall, I thought he was absolutely perfect. He isn't in the whole movie. Don't expect a lot of him. He is where he needs to be, and afterwards it's done because everyone is basically done. Alright? But I loved him in this movie, and that's it. What are my thoughts on this movie? I still love this movie. I still love this movie to this day, and to this day, it is still my favorite MCU movie. I love this thing. I can't think of a better movie, because when I think of the MCU, I think about this movie a lot. Whether it's the opening scene with Wanda, whether it's like the airport fight, whether it's the end stuff, all of it, I still think about it to this day. And yes, there's some suspension of disbelief that happens in this movie, but outside of that, it is brilliant. So let's get into final verdicts, because I really want to talk spoilers about this movie. So, my final verdict for Captain America Civil War is obviously going to be a 10 out of 10. What did you expect? Absolutely fantastic movie. I love this thing, and I would highly recommend it, but you gotta do a little bit of homework in order to really kind of get where the characters are coming from. My recommendation would be watch the other Avengers movies at the very least. Okay, watch Avengers and Age of Ultron to kind of see how this went. And also, I will say watch the Cap movies, First Avenger and Winter Soldier. Outside of that, the movies are kind of like your choice. But you gotta understand Cap, Bucky the most. That is like the heart and soul of this movie, and I love this movie. So, let me know what you guys thought in the comment section down below about Captain America Civil War. And with that being said, thank you all so very much for watching, and I do hope you guys have enjoyed. And if you did, please like button, subscribe if you're new, if you're not sorry, turn on notifications, don't forget to check out my Let's Play channel. Link in the description and at the end of the video. And at the time of recording this, that channel has hit 500 subscribers. So, to any cross viewers, as in people who watch both channels, thank you all so very much for your support over on the Let's Play channel. It means the world to me seeing that number hit 500. Well, 501 now, but 500 was just amazing. I never thought I'd even get that far. Yes, that is how low my expectations were. But thank you all so very much. Now let's get this channel up to 500 subs as well. And I'll see you guys next week when we are actually gonna take a slight break from the MCU and we're gonna watch some one-shots, baby. Yes, I will review all of the one-shots. However, the reason that I'm doing it now is because of the fact that technically the Thor one-shots take place at the same time as this movie. And they actually are considered one-shots on Disney+. So that is what we will be taking a look at next week. So hopefully you'll join me for that one. Bye!